Why unconditional love is so important. I used to hate myself. Like, literally. There was a point in my life where I would emotionally and physically neglect myself so badly that through removing the most basic human needs, I'd do stupid stuff like starving myself, isolating myself in a room, and removing genuinely positive things within everyday life because I hadn't lived up to a fixated, hypersensitive, unrealistic version of myself that was to be a productivity machine. It was disgusting. I did accomplish the most I have ever completed in my life during those months, but in the process, I was losing my soul. I was losing the part that made me a human being. Because of this overproductiveness that led to neglect, you can already guess what happened next. The worst burnout of my life hit me. I was exhausted, anxious, fearful, and worse off, alone. I had to retreat back to pleasures and habits that weren't of any help in helping me recover, but instead we opened doors to further assist in degenerating my body's overall status of health and well-being. My health was put on the line. What was clear was my health was put on the line for something that wasn't to be valued above myself. I was on the process of losing myself. I neglected myself for no reason, and that's what I had to figure out how to change. April 23rd, 2023. It's just some random date I made up. I don't remember the exact date, but I decided it was time to experience a change in mindset, and a change in the way I view myself. That's what leads me to the present day. Many people only feel worthy when they are productive, attractive, successful, helpful, or receiving attention. I feel that I am the person to say that that is just bull. No. You are valuable, irreplaceable, and are to be respected as no one else has stepped within your shoes. That is why I want to go over the 3 steps of escaping this rat race within your brain that genuinely can become so freeing. You're able to learn to accept and love yourself. The more you do, the more you become able to impact and bring more value onto the earth and to those you love. Number 1 is love yourself beyond just your achievements. I find that a lot of people unknowingly treat love like some sort of reward. The classic excuses are, I'll be proud of myself when I lose weight. I'll finally respect myself when I become disciplined. I'll finally feel worthy when I become successful. I can feel lovable when somebody chooses me. The problem is that there will always be another goal. Once you reach one achievement, your mind may immediately create another condition you must meet. This isn't random. In fact, there's some science behind how this functions. Bear with me, please, as I promise this won't be boring. Psychologists psychologists describe this condition as contingent self-worth. It's essentially means that your sense of value depends on whether you succeed in an area that feels important to you, such as your appearance, relationships, popularity, productivity, career, or academic performance. The problem is that this creates something like, I guess, can be described as a emotional contract of some sorts with yourself. Am I allowed to feel good about myself? I am allowed to feel good about myself, but only if I perform well. When you succeed, the problem with this is when you succeed, you may temporarily feel confident, but when you fail, fall behind, get rejected, gain weight, lose motivation, or make a mistake, it does not simply feel like something went wrong. It can begin to feel as though, quote unquote, you are what went wrong. Instead of thinking, quote unquote, I failed at something, you begin thinking, I am a failure because of this. That distinction right there is incredibly important. Instead, if you were to have a healthy identity, allowing you to evaluate your behavior without turning that evaluation into a verdict on your entire existence, you can admit that you made a poor decision, need more discipline, or have areas where you need to grow without concluding that you are worthless or should be of less value. Your achievements can change what you have, what you know, and what you are capable of, but they should never determine whether you deserve love. Let me say that again. Your achievements can change what you have, what you know, and what you are capable of, but they should never determine whether you deserve love. Number two is stop being your own enemy. Within isolation, within your inner thoughts, your inner voice becomes the emotional environment you live inside every day. It's mentally, physically, and spiritually exhausting. In this solitary confinement we find ourselves in when we feel disconnected and overwhelmed and are unable to process social situations with genuine feelings, sucks. It sucks feeling this. In these situations, my mind uncontrollably hyper focuses on criticizing myself as some sort of internal judge, condemning me for being caught up in an unwanted situation. This feeling of reflecting hatred and judgment onto ourselves because of internal conflicts and expectations becomes an illusion, a burden we can find ourselves taking so seriously. I say, stop being your own enemy, because we are often the one who is to criticize and make a big overexposed statement about who we are and what we're currently experiencing. When that voice constantly nags at you and says, "You are pathetic. Nobody will nobody will ever love you. You always mess everything up. You should be further ahead." Even ordinary mistakes begin to feel like evidence that something is fundamentally wrong with you. You need to stop being your own enemy by quote unquote correcting yourself without destroying yourself. When your brain is so focused on what's wrong about you and why you're alone and experiencing these situations, notice these harsh thoughts. Separate mistakes from your identity and replace insults with honest internal guidance. Take responsibility. Learn from what happened, learn from where you are, and choose to move forward instead of using shame as your way of motivation. Keep small promises to yourself. Protect yourself from harmful patterns and ask, what would genuinely help me out right now? What can I do to help myself? Self love is not avoiding accountability, it is becoming your own coach instead of your own bully. I know this is going to sound really corny. And looking back, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's going to sound really corny. But self love is not avoiding accountability, it is becoming your own coach instead of your own bully. You deserve love even on the days when you accomplish nothing. Number three, build a relationship with yourself. It might sound corny, but you have to learn how to love yourself and value yourself, not only for who you are today, but also for the person you are gradually becoming. When you truly realize that you are the one person with the greatest ability to redirect your actions, motives, habits, and beliefs, it can be eye-opening. Other people can support you, inspire you, or guide you, but they cannot make that internal change for you. That might initially sound like a burden, but it is actually freeing. It means you are not permanently trapped by your past, your mistakes, or the way other people perceive you. You do not have to become the person others expect or pressure you to be. Building a relationship with yourself means becoming someone you can trust, understand, and care for. It means learning to enjoy the present moment, appreciate the miracle of being alive, and respect yourself, even during the difficult seasons. You will not always feel positive, confident, or motivated, and that's quite okay. The goal is not to ignore your struggles. The goal is to stop abandoning yourself whenever life becomes difficult. Every day, through small choices, you are shaping the relationship you have with yourself. You can continue practicing self neglect and allowing your inner voice to steal your joy. Or you can begin treating yourself like someone whose life, feelings, and future genuinely matter. This is the secret sauce, I want to say. I once believed that becoming more productive would finally make me worthy of my own respect. Instead, I pushed myself so hard that I neglected my basic needs, isolated myself, damaged my health, and eventually experienced the worst burnout in my life. That experience taught me something important. Success means very little when achieving it requires you to abandon yourself. The secret sauce to escaping that mental rat race is not becoming perfect. It is changing the relationship you have with yourself. First, stop making love and respect rewards that you can only earn through achievements. Your goals can improve your life, but they should never determine whether your life has value. Second, stop using shame as motivation. Correct yourself without destroying yourself. Become the voice that guides you through mistakes instead of that voice that convinces you that you are the mistake. And finally, third of all, build a relationship with yourself through small acts of trust, care, honesty, discipline, and forgiveness. Other people can support your growth, but you are the only person who will be beside yourself through every achievement, failure, lonely season. The goal is to not love everything about yourself every moment. The goal is to stop abandoning yourself whenever you fall short. Matthew 22:39. And the second is like, love your neighbor as yourself. I want to let you know that wherever you are in life, you are loved by somebody, and your family loves you. Jesus loves you, and I love you. And I am proud of you for trying and staying this long. Building a relationship with yourself, it's a difficult process. You go through ups and downs, trials and errors, but it's worth it. Please consider subscribing if you enjoyed the content and want to see more. And please let me know what you'd like to see a video on. Have a blessed week, and remember to keep going and know that you are loved.